Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, July the 21st. Most of the news today is in Washington. Not much happening on a very hot day in Arkansas today, but you know what they say, it rolls downhill, and so what happens in Washington is eventually felt here sooner or later. The first big news is Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, coming forward with some statements about his meetings with Russians during the campaign and during the transition period. He had 4 meetings with representatives of the Russian government. He insists there was nothing untoward about it. He did nothing wrong. He did not, quote, collude, unquote, with anyone. Collusion is not a legal word that means anything with any legal repercussions. Meeting with agents of the foreign government who promise to provide dirt on your father-in-law's opponent in the presidential election sounds somewhat like collusion to me, but that'll be for others to decide. He's going to meet in private with Congress. We won't know anything about any tough cross-examinations he gets. I've remarked this morning on the Arkansas blog that the news about Kushner, I'm sorry, obscures a much bigger current issue, and that's what the fate of health legislation is going to be. The Senate may vote as soon as tomorrow on yet another version of the bill to repeal and replace Obamacare. And this time we have no idea what's going to be in it. It's going to be a secret up until the last minute. It's an amazing way to run the U.S. government. Democrats are howling about it, of course. What you're not hearing any noise from are people like Tom Cotton, John Bozeman, and French Hill, and other Arkansas congressmen. They say nothing about what's in this bill. Is it better? Is it worse? Does it include the junk insurance clause? Does it do anything about the lack of subsidies for poor people who will be thrown off Medicaid? What are the adjustments on Medicaid? What will the impact on the states be? Mitch McConnell is hoping to pass this bill tomorrow. He may do it, and it may be a landmark in American history, passing a bill that nobody had a chance to see before it was passed. Also in Washington is news that Donald Trump continues to be very unhappy with Jeff Sessions for not cleaning up the Russian matter for him by stepping aside, and there's talk that Rudy Giuliani might replace him as Attorney General. Isn't that an amazing thing? We can be sure if that does happen, we'll finally get to Donald Trump's famous answer to all criticism of him, which is, what about Hillary Clinton? Rudy, I'm sure, would be happy to get back into that email issue. Let's talk a little bit about Arkansas anyway. Late Friday afternoon, after we recorded this program, got word that Jared Varner, who's the executive director of Rock Region Metro, the local bus company, had decided to take another job at a big national transportation management company. This is just a bureaucratic shuffle to most people, but he was a young, dynamic person who was moving the bus company in the right direction, recognizing that the world of transportation is changing, and it's not all about building wider freeways. He was the only vote on Metroplan against the concrete ditch project downtown to make I-30 even wider and more destructive to the city of Little Rock as commuting patterns change. We'll miss him, but he's going to continue to live in North Little Rock as a consultant. Says he's still going to work on transportation issues here. That's a good thing. Late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, there was a shooting in the Dickson Street Entertainment District in Fayetteville. Nobody was seriously hurt. A former Razorback, Sebastian Tretola, got grazed, as they used to say in the Western movies, by a stray bullet. But I liked a comment that was made by a Fayetteville police officer after the event. He said, you know, these things just happen at 2 a.m. in these entertainment districts. Well, indeed they do, and I couldn't help but recall that the Arkansas legislature a few months ago passed a law that makes it okay for people to carry guns to bars because, well, you just can't be too careful these days at 2 a.m. in the morning in a place where alcohol is conserved. More guns mean people are safer. Isn't that right? That's what Charlie Collins said. Elsewhere on the crime front, I was interested to get a note from the Little Rock Downtown Neighborhood Association. The police chief of Little Rock is having a series of neighborhood meetings about crime and things to do about it. City Director Irma Hendricks, the irascible 80-year-old plus city director from Ward 1, which represents some of the toughest neighborhoods of the city, basically decided they didn't need to have a meeting with the police chief in her neighborhood. Who knows what was going through Irma's head, but a meeting with the police chief didn't seem like a bad idea to me anyway. BuzzFeed reported this morning that there's a new short film out about Ruth Coker Burke. She's the cemetery angel, the woman from Arkansas memorably profiled by David Kuhn and the Arkansas Times for being an AIDS activist and a caregiver at a time when people were afraid to work with people with AIDS. She was a remarkable woman, remarkable story by David. There's now a short film about her done by the actress Rose McGowan. You might take a look. There's a link for it on Arkansas blog. That's about it for today. We're watching a lot of things. Check the blog. You might see more later. We're still resisting. I hope you will too. I'm Max Brantley.